Here's some tips for starting your loofah plants indoors. Of all the plants that I grow, loofah are probably the most difficult to germinate and they can take a really long time. But there are a few things you can do to help increase your germination rate and speed up the process. Loofah have this hard outer shell on them, so one thing you can do to help improve germination is to just clip a little piece off of that top rounded edge. You want to do just enough that it's going to let water into that shell. Nail clippers work really well for this, and you can also just rub it on a piece of sandpaper. Another thing you could do is soak them in warm water overnight before you plant them. Using a heat mat can really help speed up germination as well. I started these loofah a few weeks ago. You can see the leaves are starting to curl a little bit and pointing downward, so that's telling me that these are probably getting too much light, so I'm going to go ahead and move these to more of an indirect light now. Other than that, they're nice and healthy. You can see they're starting to get some of their leaves here. So in about a week, I'm going to want to start potting some of these up. Loofah doesn't like to be transplanted, but I found that potting them up doesn't really seem to bother them. It's getting them out into the garden that's a problem. So last year I used these cow pots. I didn't have any transplant issues, so I'm going to be doing that again this year. With these, you just plant the whole pot, but what I do before I get them in the ground is cut the bottoms off so that the roots can escape. These do eventually break down, but I'm concerned that it's going to take a while before the roots can actually make their way out the sides. I know a lot of people have issues with peat pots, but these are different. I've never used peat pots. These worked well for me last year, so I'm doing it again. I know it's been a while, but out of curiosity, I'm going to go out and dig up the roots of one of last year's loofah plants and see if there's anything left of these pots. All right, see what we got here. I'm going to use them again regardless because they worked last year, but I'm just curious. There's nothing, no sign of them at all. So if you're having trouble transplanting your loofah, you might want to try the cow pots. The only real problem I have with those is that if they sit saturated for a long time, they will start to grow mold, so it's a good idea to keep a fan on them.